Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode with Wall Street Alliance Group. Recently, you've probably heard in the news about this one big, beautiful bill. So many of our clients have inquired about this bill, and it was recently passed by the House of Representatives and reached Congress. So it may affect your financial planning and portfolio. My name is Catie Liu, and I'm a client service associate here at Wall Street Alliance Group. And today we have two special guests with us, Nathan McKearney, Chartered Financial Analyst, and Qihang Yao, Certified Plan Fiduciary Advisor. They're here to tell us a little more about it and how it can impact you. So Nathan, to start us off, can you tell us what is this big, beautiful bill?
Sure, Katie. Let's talk about it. It's a massive new tax legislation, as you mentioned, that passed through the House. It was over 1,000 pages long, and to be honest with you, we're still unpacking new pieces of it every day. At a high level, though, basically it's a revival and an extension of the 2017 Trump tax cuts, this time with a push to make some of the temporary parts permanent. This includes the lower individual tax rates, the bigger standard deductions, and an expanded child tax credit. But it does go beyond personal taxes. The bill also includes some big corporate tax reforms aimed at encouraging investment and growth. These are full bonus depreciation, meaning that companies can write off equipment costs right away. There's also full expensing for US-based R&D, which helps support innovation. And it brings back more generous rules for deducting interest, which makes borrowing cheaper. So if you put these three reforms together, these are meant to get businesses spending, hiring, and expanding, with the idea to boost long-term growth and help bring in more revenue and reduce the deficit overall. Now, as we said, it's not law yet. The Senate is still weighing in and adjusting, but since it's passed the House already, it's definitely on our minds, and we're speaking to clients about it now, especially for anyone thinking about tax planning, investment, or where the economy is heading overall.
Great, thank you, Nathan. Qihang, as a certified plan fiduciary advisor, can you tell me from a personal level, what are its impacts on financial planning?
Yeah, of course, Katie. So, as Nathan mentioned, this legislation is making some of the aspects of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent. And the first and foremost that I want to talk about is the seven tax brackets. So between 10% and 37%, this will be permanent. The second biggest thing I want to talk about is QBI. Now, this is actually a very powerful tax deduction. It's called Qualified Business Income Deduction, QBI. And actually, a lot of physicians do not know about this, but this is a very powerful deduction. It allows you to, if you are self-employed, it allows you to deduct up to 20% of your K-1 income, subject to income limitations. Now, this bill is proposing increasing the deduction from up to 20% to 23%. So big difference there. Then we have the expanded uses for HSA, health savings accounts. So it's freeing up the flexibility. Even if you're on Medicare, you can open up HSA accounts, use money from that, no problem. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is 529s and educational accounts. So for 529s, they're saying that for this bill, there's going to be more flexibility on how individuals can use their 529 money. For example, they do not have to just use it for tuition. They can use it to pay, for example, private tutors for private lessons. It's very, very, very powerful, we think. And then finally, talk about the Trump accounts, which is a special kind of investment account that parents can create for their children. They can contribute up to $5,000 a year per child. And once that child reaches 18, they're able to take out half of that money, pay only long-term capital gains on the investment, and then providing that they use it for qualified expenses. And then once the child reaches 30, they're able to take out the remainder of it. So most likely, we think that a lot of this might be modified in the Senate to some degree, but in the meantime, we do want to discuss and make sure that everyone is aware of it as well.
you, Qihang, for your insights. So, what would you two say are some pros and cons related to this bill? Nathan, we'll start with you from an economic perspective.
Sure. So on the plus side, the bill is designed to boost growth by encouraging private investment. Some projections are showing it could add 800,000 jobs in the economy, lift wages by 3%, and drive more capital spending. There's even some models that suggest it could push GDP growth beyond 3% a year if everything goes according to plan. This is the optimistic end of the spectrum. In reality, the projections are all over the place, some showing very minimal growth. So unlike public investment like the Infrastructure Act of 2021, where the government controls spending, this is relying on businesses and individuals to choose when to invest. That means that timing the impact is a lot harder to predict. And if growth doesn't come through, you're left with a bigger deficit and not a whole lot to show for it. So, of course, big upside here, but with some risks. We're just going to have to see how it plays out in real time.
Thanks, Nathan. Qihang, what about from a financial planning perspective?
Right. So one of the biggest criticisms about this bill is the proposals to cut back on healthcare insurance. Now, there are talks that this bill is going to cut Medicare significantly and also at the same time raise the requirements to even qualify for it. Now, they're also saying that out-of-pocket costs are expected to increase for those who are insured, as well as annual premiums could be increased too. But it's very important to know that there is speculation. There's a lot of speculation on how the specifics of this bill will be passed once it passes Senate. But it's also important to know that these figures that we see now, they're only projections. As Nathan said, there's projections from speculations of what we know. So. But as a fiduciary financial advisor, it's important to say that you should speak with your financial advisor and your CPA to see how this bill will be able to affect you and your family.
Thank you so much, Nathan and Qihang, for joining this video. We hope you found this informative. As Qihang said, it's important to speak with your financial advisor or CPA. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We here at Wall Street Alliance Group can take care of all your financial planning needs under one umbrella very efficiently. Thank you for watching.